Hello, math lovers. Welcome back to my channel again, SumThing Rational. So I have been solving NJSLA questions. We are in the chapters. We are in the chapter operations on polynomials. So one of the questions is on the screen now. This is one of the common questions of factoring. So you can pause the video and you try to solve it by yourself. Okay. Shortly we will come back. Yep. For this type of questions, they are asking the zeros. They are asking the zeros of this polynomial. What does mean zeros of this polynomial? Zeros of this polynomial means we are looking for some values of x, means some numerical values of x. When we just plug them here, then the result will be 0. Because of that, we call it zeros of the polynomial. Okay? Result will be 0. So to find the zeros of the polynomial should be in a factor form, okay? It will help us a lot. As we discussed quadratic polynomial has different types. One of them is vertex form, yeah? This one. You might know from your teacher already. This is a vertex form. One of them is standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. One of them is factor form, okay? A times x minus, you can write here x minus b and x minus c also, no problem, okay? So when you write the polynomial in a vertex form, vertex is here, okay? Vertex is here, which is h and k. If you write the polynomial in a standard form, it is y-intercept is here. If you write the polynomial in a factor form, you can find zeros of this easily. So from here, x is equal to b. From here, x is equal to c. They are the zeros of the polynomial because b and c will make this function, this polynomial, 0. Okay? So there are benefits of writing the polynomial in different forms. So in this question, since it is asking the 0, we don't multiply it, okay? We don't multiply it. Please don't do that for this question. What we need to do, we need to factor it, this. So this is already factor. X times what times what, okay? Since it is quadratic, we can factor x squared plus 4x minus 12. Okay, how we can factor? We are looking for two numbers which their multiplication is negative 12, and their addition is positive 4. Multiplication negative 12. Tell me two numbers multiplication negative 12. Maybe 2 and 6, but maybe like this, okay? Or when I add them, negative 4. But maybe you can change them. Negative 2 and positive 6, okay? So negative 2 and positive 6 multiplication also negative 12, and negative 2 and positive 6 addition is positive 4, okay? Because of that, you can choose your numbers as negative 2 and positive 6, which means you can write it as x minus 2 here and x plus 6, okay? To full factor. If you are not sure, you multiply back again, okay? You multiply this, x squared. You multiply this, positive 6x. You multiply this, negative 2x, x squared, positive 6x, negative 2x, and negative 12. So you combine them, x squared, positive 4x, negative 12. Yeah, we got the original one. So it is correct. So no need to do. Let's continue. X times x minus 2 and x plus 6. Now question is saying that what makes this expression 0? Okay, because if we are trying to find the zeros of the polynomial, what makes them 0? According to zero product property, okay, zero product property. What says zero product property? Zero product property, which means if you have several multiplication of several variables is 0, okay? Means a times b times c times d. We can continue as many as possible, 0. Which means to get result 0, at least one of them must be 0. Otherwise, you cannot get 0. For example, 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 will not be 0 definitely. It will be 24. If result is 0, either this should be 0 times this or 1 times 0 times 0. Any of them you should take as a 0 if result is 0. At least. Two of them can be 0 or three of them or all of them can be 0. But at least one of them, yeah? One of them must be 0. One of them must be 0. This is the zero product property, which means if x times x minus 2 times x plus 6 is 0, either x can be 0 or x minus 2 is 0 or x plus 6 is 0. Okay? If x is 0, okay, x is 0. If x minus 2 is 0, what makes x minus 2 0? x2, because when 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay? If x plus 6 is 0, what makes x plus 6 is 0? Negative 6. Okay? We simply solve this equation. Okay? Now we have, if x is 0, whole expression is 0, because 0 times 0 minus 2, these are not important now. Now, if x is 2, second expression is 0. Others are not important because whole multiplication will be 0. If x is negative 6, also whole multiplication will be 0. So we have three answers for zeros. X can be 0, x can be 2, x can be 6. Because of that, we need to look for 2, 0, and the negative 6. Okay? 2, 0, and the negative 6 will be correct options. They have given 8 options, but 3 of them. As these are multiple choice questions, they don't give partial credit for this type of question, guys. It is bad news for you. Because of that, if you come across this type of questions, all your options must be correct. There is no partial credit for this type of question. Even if one of them, two of them correct, if third is wrong, then you cannot get, unfortunately. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you became more knowledgeable. Thanks so much for staying with me. See you in the next video.